Hey guys, I just wanted to make a video to put up online to discuss my concerns and my opinions on some things that have been going on here in America. And the main one that has really been catching my attention lately is the older generations talking about how the younger generations are so terrible. It's basically a new form of kids these days. And to be honest with you, I'm 38 years old, and I grew up hearing people from my grandparents' generation going on and on and on about how the kids in my generation were so terrible. Meanwhile, most of the ones that were complaining the longest and loudest about how kids my age were so terrible were just as rude, just as ignorant, just as arrogant as the kids they were complaining about. And the way I see it, what's been going on is we've had generation after generation, for a couple of generations now, not teaching the kids manners and respect. And what has happened in this country because of it, we have become a nation that is ill-tempered, ill-mannered, contemptuous to everyone, self-serving, self-centered, conceited, whining, crying little bitches and assholes. Pardon the language there, but I'm going to call it like I see it. I can't begin to tell you how many times I've seen parents or grandparents take their kids or their grandkids into a store or a restaurant and let their kids run amok. They don't care. And then we sit there and we see them let their kids run amok, and then they complain and bitch about kids these days. Look at these kids. Look at how they act. Look at their lack of manners. Look at their lack of respect. Well, where are you as the parent or the grandparent of this child teaching these kids manners and respect when you're letting them run amok? I can't begin to tell you how many times I've pulled into a parking lot or been driving down the street and I see a group of people crossing either to the parking lot or crossing the street, and it's mom or dad or grandma or grandpa and their kids or their grandkids, and they just dart right out in front of oncoming traffic without looking to see if any traffic was coming. And again, we hear the older generations, kids these days. Kids these days. Well, you know what? Where are you teaching your kids and your grandkids respect, dignity, and to look both ways before you cross the street? Where are the parents and the grandparents teaching these kids how to act? They certainly aren't learning anything in our public schools because our teachers, no offense to teachers out there, I know I've got a few friends on my Facebook feed that are teachers, and they've got their hands tied because the school districts want them to prep the kids for the next big standardized test. And then, if they do have time in elementary school or middle school to teach kids how to be respectful and mannered, we can't teach the kids that. And what has it gotten us? Like I said earlier, what it's gotten us with the way we act. And it's bleeding over into every aspect of our society and our culture. And people wonder why. Countries that are in places like the Middle East hate Americans. That's part of the reason why. We're contemptuous. We think that anyone who is different than us is an enemy and must be avoided or must be eradicated from the face of the earth. We wonder why over in Europe there's the stereotype of the ugly American. That's why, people. And while we're on the subject of what's wrong with America and how we treat other people and how we have no respect and so much contempt for everybody else, let's look at the political climate right now, where you have people involved in politics rebelling against political correctness. So far as I've been able to gather, what they're calling political correctness is what I was taught when I was a child as being respectful to other people and having good manners. And now we have a very popular political campaign slogan that a lot of people seem to be rallying behind. Make America Great Again. Sure, absolutely. Let's make America great again. I've got an idea on how we can make America great again, and hold on to your hat, folks, because it's something simple. It's something that everybody watching this video should be doing. Setting an example for the younger generation and for people of your own generation, regardless of what generation you belong to. Let's go back to being polite. Let's go back to being courteous. Let's go back to having basic human dignity for one another. Forget about serving yourselves. Forget about it's all about me. Forget about instant gratification. When you're going to a restaurant or some other business or public building, and there's someone coming in while you're going out, hold the door open for them. Be polite. Be courteous. When somebody holds the door open for you or does something nice for you, say thank you. When you see someone that's struggling with something, offer to help them. Give them a helping hand when you see them struggling. Forget about how long it's going to take. Forget about everything that you have to do that's the reason why you can't help somebody. Give somebody a helping hand. Have some respect for a change. When you see somebody that's different from you, don't sit and stare. Don't make snide comments. Treat them like a human. Treat them like you want to be treated. And forget this idea, this philosophy that's being crammed down people's throats. They're a different religion from you, so they can't be trusted. They must be an enemy. They're a different skin tone than you are, so they must be an enemy. They can't be trusted. They have a different political point of view than you. Stay away from them. They're dangerous. We can't let these people into our country because they're different from us. Drop it. It's bullshit. We're all human. We need to treat each other with respect and with dignity and with good manners. Because I'll tell you what. Excuse me. The second we, not as Americans, it doesn't matter what country you're in, what state you live in, what province of Canada, whatever, it doesn't matter where you're at in the world, okay? The second you wake up and you realize it's not all about me, and I'm going to go out today and do something to make myself a better person, not to make myself look good, but because I want to be a better person, then you will be making America great again, or Canada, or Mexico, or whatever part of the world you're from. And if enough people here in America start waking up and saying, let me be a better person today, let me forget about being self-centered for a change, and do something to help somebody else out, and do it on a regular basis, then we can make America great again. But then, that's just one American's opinion.